Well, hello everyone. This is Sevilla I Love, and here we are on this channel getting back to living and loving life again after a major life-altering loss. Tonight, I just want to do a really quick discussion about holidays and whether or not you're involved in the holidays with your widow or widower and what that looks like for both of you. Okay, I got a note I want to pull up right here. There's some top considerations that you need to have. Number one is, how early are you in the relationship and how early are you in your loss? If you're less than a year, I'll stretch it out to even less than 2 years, then you are more in an acute period of the loss. So in regards to yourself and your own grieving process, also, most importantly, in terms of what you have to navigate, is your family. Speaking to the widow, you have adult children, you have in-laws. In their eyes, you are the last living representation of that person. The law sees you in the same way, okay? Which is why when you die, most things go over to the spouse. So you're considered the other half of them, and your family sees you in that way. And as the widow or widower, you probably feel that sense of obligation. Most of you probably do. You feel that sense of obligation. Now you've taken on the responsibility of another person in your life, somebody that you've been dating. Now, this is to people who have gone beyond the dating, like I'm just casually seeing you, to you're throwing down love bombs and you're talking about the future. Now, if you're at that stage in the relationship, whether you're less than a year or less than 2 years, you have taken on a responsibility with that other human being to now incorporate them also into your life. Now, you may be dealing with rejection from the family. You maybe haven't shared with the in-laws or the family that you have a new love in your life, and you're scared to tell them because why? You don't want to hurt them. You have an idea in your mind about how it's going to feel for them, and you might be right, you might be wrong, and you might be somewhere in between. But here's the thing, this is your life, and you have to take responsibility for it and take responsibility for the choices that you are making to involve someone else in your life. Now, if you're turning to your lover and telling them, I can't spend any of the holidays with you, I have to be with my adult children, with my grandkids, with my in-laws, with whomever, and you're excluding the person that you've been throwing down love bombs and talking about the future with, then what I'd recommend to the person dating you is that they have a very honest and clear conversation with you about how much responsibility you're taking for yourself in this new life that you didn't ask for. Just because you didn't ask for this life doesn't mean that you can now treat it haphazardly. I understand how difficult this is. I know how hard it was for me the first time I had a new love in my life and I hadn't shared the information with anyone yet because I wasn't sure where I was at with the relationship. And then I ran into my in-laws in public with my boyfriend. And it was before the holidays. And I was in that stage where it was just kind of like, I'm not sure how to navigate this. And it was thrown in my lap all of a sudden. I hadn't had a chance to really think about it. I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have any YouTube videos. I didn't have anybody else that had been through this before, and I didn't know what to do with it. In the moment, I chose courage, and I introduced him as my boyfriend. I'm still with that man today, so it was a good investment. However, it was scary. And so I want to let you know I get it, and this is not judgment, but I want to encourage you to be courageous, to own your life. If you have someone new in your life that you believe that you love, that you want to continue with, that you want to try building a life with. Okay? Now, if you're just hooking up with someone and dating them and you're not very, very serious about them, then you also need to be very clear. Okay? You need to be very clear about that. And if you're that person they're not serious about yet, This is going to be information for you. If they haven't said I love you, if they're not talking about a future with you yet, okay, if you haven't met any of their in-laws or family, then you're in, like any other situation, you don't have a right to their inside life yet. Give it more time. If this relationship is worthwhile, give it more time. Give yourselves a year to be together before you start involving families. It's okay to just have that private time for just you and that other person. At some point in time, you need to start making shifts if you actually plan on having a future together, because what having a life together means is that our families have some level of blending that goes on. Now, there's people out there I know, are facing a total rejection from family members for your new partner. It doesn't matter how great they are or how much you stood up for yourself, they still don't accept it. And then you have another choice to make, is how you're going to navigate that. And it may be that you and your partner sit and have a very honest conversation. You say, I love my adult children. I do not agree with their behavior. I don't agree with their choices. And I still love them, and they'll always be my children. And I love you. And so since I can't get them to come over the fence, I'm going to spend a part of my time with them. I'm going to spend part of my time with you. And hopefully we move forward with the relationship, and that it becomes clear to the other family members that you're going to be together. Then hopefully this begins to ease into the future, and people become more accepting of the reality that mom or dad is gone and this new person is pretty good. Hopefully they're pretty good. Hopefully you've hooked up with a good person, and that worth and their quality will be shown to the rest of the family eventually, because this isn't about the date not being a quality human being and not being good in most cases. On the other hand, there's so many variables to this, I just can't I just can't say all of them in a short video, because sometimes widows and widowers do get played, and they do, because of their vulnerability, because of what they went through, because of the trauma, they end up getting with someone who's taking advantage of them. And that does happen. And then the family may stand up because they see that happening and they want to protect you. And so they may protect you by rejecting that individual. So here's the deal, folks. No two situations are the same. Each relationship deserves its own time, attention, and consideration of the detail and the unique circumstances. You may have small children. You may have kids in transition that just, have one or two more years left in the house, and you just want to get the kids on to their own life so then you can focus on yours because you have this responsibility to raise the kids. It's not all about just your relationship when there's a family involved. And the person dating the widow can't act as if they're the only ones in the world because they say they love you, because they still have a family. Even though they may be grown or older, they love them. And if you love that widower, of course you want them to keep the relationship. They should, as they would want you to keep yours as well. There's a healthy way to do this. I don't know that there's a right way. Healthy means it's okay for you and it's okay for him, and that you have good communication. You've come to an understanding that works and values both of you based on where you're at today, right? There's no hard or fast rule. If they're doing this, then they're not worthy. If they're doing that, then dump their butts. I don't think that's necessary. If you would like to have a consultation with me about your situation, I do see private clients, and you can see a link for that below. Bottom line, though, you take care of yourself. If they need to go do something for the holidays and you've decided that that's going to be okay, you both need to have a little something during that time. There needs to be give and take. for you both to feel okay with it. And you need to be really honest about it. And each of you need to ask yourselves, am I being selfish? And am I considering the feelings of the person that I am saying I love, the person I'm saying I want to be with in the future? Okay. You're not at that point yet. Then it might be time during the holidays to take care of yourself and wait till things get more serious before you start making demands on the widow or widower, and give them a little bit of space to make this transition into a new life. Maybe the next year, things are going to look different. If you're already in your next year and things don't look different, then you need to start having a conversation with yourself about what's okay and what's not okay for you. Because we all deserve love. We all deserve respect. The widow or widower can use some special consideration based on the complicated position that they're in. And they have an obligation to consider yours as well. And you both have an obligation to work it out together in loving, clear, vulnerable communication with each other. I wish you all a very good holiday season, and that you all make it through intact for the relationships that are worth keeping, and for the ones that are okay to let go. Consider this is a good time to be able to find other things to lean into and other things to find joy, happiness, and fulfillment in, because ultimately it all comes from within ourselves. We can never find happiness external to ourselves. We have to have it first within, and then those other things can come and brighten our day even more. So, happy holidays to you.